Hello, sports fans, and welcome. Welcome to episode 236 of the Guru Talkin Sports podcast. I am your host, the Guru of Sports. Well, today I only got a couple things to talk about, and I'm not going to hold you long. I'm going to try to get you out of here quickly so you can enjoy your, football today or tomorrow, or it's actually after 12 o'clock today, so 12 o'clock this morning, actually. This is when I usually do the podcast. Remember, I usually do it on Saturday nights now since I'm into football season. So, a couple things I wanted to talk about today was the situation with Bryce Young, the WNBA Playoffs, and then I'm going to give you my picks of the week. Now, college football, it's still going pretty strong. Yeah, Michigan did win. They beat USC. What a big deal, okay? Now, my Ohio State Buckeyes, they took care of business like usual. They rolled over Marshall, which was a good thing, which is, like they was going to lose to Marshall, right? But I tell you one thing, I do like Texas is the best team in the country. Even without Ewers, Arch Manning just an amazing dude, And you gotta see now that there's gonna be teams, doing all they can to tank games in the NFL to try to get this kid. One of those teams I'll talk about a little bit later on down the line when I talk to you about the picks, because I know that they're going to be tanking for a quarterback. All right, so first off, let's talk about Bryce Young. Now, he was benched this week. This week coming, and for the foreseeable future, he's not going to be playing. So my question is, if you have an organization which is chaotic, you got probably the worst owner now in the NFL, David Tepper, and you got this kid that he wanted to draft. You got to remember now, he wanted Bryce Young. David Tepper wanted to have Bryce Young. They didn't want to go with C.J. Stroud. They wanted to go with Bryce Young. So now, you got Bryce Young, and you got to remember, like I said, the owner is terrible. He fires coaches like left and right. What did he do? He had Matt Rule. He fired him. He had Frank Wright. He fired him. Now he has Dave Canales. Now, Canales, I think, is a pretty good guy. But on Sunday, he came out and said, or on Saturday or whatever, last week, he said, hey, look, Bryce Young is our guy. We're going to go with him. Full support on Bryce Young. And then turn around and say, hey, look, right after the game on Sunday, well, we're going to go with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton. He has the best case for us to win. We're going to go with Andy Dalton. Just throwing Bryce Young under the bus and saying, screw you, Bryce Young. But you know what? I gotta give Bryce Young a lot of credit. He wasn't rebellious. He wasn't elitist like these athletes out here are today. Today's athletes are just, they cry, they complain, and, they do all this stuff. He was really professional about it. Now, one of the things I can say about Bryce Young is that he's probably not going to play another game for this team. He's not. How can you pull a guy after maybe 18 games, 18, 19 games in the NFL. You know, last year he was 2-15. This year he's 0-2. So 17 games, you're going to just get rid of this kid. You know, he was the first pick in the draft. But under two coaches and 25 different offensive coordinators, what do you expect? The kid has never had a decent situation to where he has been, put in a situation to win. This team is not going to win anything. Yeah, Andy Dalton's going to be out there. But I mean, they gutted their team to get Bryce Young, get the first pick, trade up with Chicago, gave away DJ Moore, and Christian McCaffrey. They gave away him to San Francisco. What do you expect? They don't have anything. They don't have no legitimate players on their roster other than, the guy they got from Pittsburgh. I can't remember his name right off, but, that guy. And then, they still got Sanders. But the thing about it is that, look, he has nothing to work with. The offensive line is probably the worst offensive line in the NFL. Probably second only to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's line is terrible. I'm just pissed off with Jacksonville. I'm you'll hear that discussed when I talk about them later. But Carolina doesn't have anything to look forward to. They're not winning anything no time soon. So, I don't fault Bryce Young, and I think that he held this thing and made this thing, he was very professional about it. He didn't go pout. He didn't go spout off to the media about how he was getting done wrong in Carolina. He basically just, understood the situation. And then I listened to some of the things that he said. He said, yeah, I understand that, I'm not able to, read some of the defenses correctly. And, I made some mistakes. And I got to give him credit. He admitted some of the things that he did wrong. But the thing about it is that when you ain't got nothing to look forward to, this team is terrible. They're absolutely terrible. Let's just put it that way. And what do you expect from him? Yeah, I understand you'd say the guy's a little bit short or whatever, and he just, it's hard for him to see over the line or whatever. Yeah, whatever. But the thing about it is that, this is the guy that the organization wants, and now they're willing to throw him away. Carolina's a mess. Carolina is a total mess. And believe me, if I'm Bryce Young, I would be thinking about maybe, just holding, my peace, not saying anything that'll get you in trouble. And maybe they might come around and decide to trade him. But right now, who would want to trade for him? Remember I told you, I said I had a team that I think that is going to tank for a quarterback. Let's talk about the New York Giants. New York Giants will probably be that one team to say, hey, look, you know what? We'll give you whatever you need to take Bryce Young. He could succeed in New York. But then again, you got to remember, in New York, you got to be right. You got to be straight. You got to be, the best, because believe me, they can get you up out of there as soon as possible too. Philadelphia just like the same thing, work these media outlets here on the East Coast, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, they're pretty raw when it comes to poor performances and all. But I got to give it up for Bryce Young. He's taking this the right way, taking the high road, and now he's going to be, he's going to be on the bench. I hate to see it, but the kid is, hey, it's a learning curve. You know what? I thought that he was going to be a pretty good pro. When the guru thinks that, he's going to be high on someone, like I was CJ Stroud, he's a Buckeye, Ohio State Buckeyes, and yeah, that's right. When I mentioned Ohio State or CJ Stroud, I always think about Ohio State. Definitely. Probably CJ Stroud is going to probably be the best Ohio State quarterback of all time. We have to see. Justin Fields is still, hanging around in Pittsburgh. Yeah, he makes his start today, too. But finishing up on Bryce Young, I just think that this is a situation where the organization really failed this kid. That's my thought. When you fail a kid, when you put your, faith in someone and say, hey, they're going to get the job done, you expect them to get the job done. But then again, when you got so much confusion, so much disarray, and so much conflict, chaos, what the hell do you expect? Remember, David Tepper wanted this kid. They didn't want C.J. Stroud. Frank Reich said, hey, look, I would rather take C.J. Stroud than Bryce Young. And the owner stepped in and said, hey, no, you're taking Bryce Young. This is not his fault. This is not Bryce Young's fault. I applaud the kid, and I wish the kid the best. I keep saying kid because, younger guy, Generation X, I guess, or whatever, But I really do respect Bryce Young. I mean, even though that he played for Alabama and that no good Nick Saban, lying-ass Nick Saban, I still think that Bryce Young is a pretty good quarterback. Had him on my fantasy team last year. Hey, he didn't do too good, but, this year I tried to get him and somebody took him early. All right, so we'll see. Now let's go to the WNBA. WNBA Playoffs is starting today. Now, one thing I can say about the WNBA, the worst thing you could do is have your playoffs start on a football Sunday. Here it is, week 3 of the NFL season, and you're going to start your playoffs right on Sunday, right at 1 o'clock. Is right up against the NFL. Can't do it. You can't do it. This has been one of the best seasons of all time. The greatest NBA season or WNBA season of all time. Now, I watch a lot of WNBA, and not just because of Caitlin Clark. I've been watching the WNBA for a long time. I've been watching them for a long time. This has been the most enjoyable season I've ever watched. And some of the, Akia Jackson and Cameron Brink, the rookies, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, all the rookies that came in this year, one of the most historic rookie classes in this sports history. And I really think that this season has probably been, it drew, a lot of eyes came to this. The last game that Fever played against Washington, they sold out, and that was like one of the biggest crowds of all time. Like I said, I got a chance to go to the first ever WNBA game, and I loved it. I thought it was like one of the greatest things ever to see women play basketball. Years ago, back in 96, 97, that's when it was. But anyway, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the matchups a little bit. I'm not going to go really, really hard into details, but, I can say that, I can give you teams and I can give you the prediction on what they're going to do. Now, these are all 3-game series. It's not like hard like the men, 7 games, whatever. And like Moses Malone said years ago, you have to win 4. No, you only have to win 2 out of 3. New York Liberty is playing the Atlanta Dream. Now, if you just woke up out of a deep sleep or whatever, or if you came from another planet, you have no way of knowing. No way of knowing that the New York Liberty is the best team in the WNBA this season. I think they had over 30 wins. No doubt. They had over 30 wins. So we're going to take the New York Liberty to win this series 2-0. Atlanta was, scraped to get into the, playoffs here. And I really think that they are going to get swept. So, swept is 2-game series. So, if you're, listening to me right now, which you should be smart and take the New York Liberty to win this series. Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu they're gonna dominate this matchup. There's no way in the hell that Atlanta's gonna win. I don't even think they're gonna win a game in this. Right now, I think the odds are they're favored by like 12.5 points. Ain't no problem there. All right. Indiana versus Connecticut. Caitlin Clark has made this WNBA season one of the greatest of all time. I've explained that. But the thing about it is that she really struggled against really 3 teams in the WNBA. She struggled against Connecticut. She struggled against New York. And she struggled. And I think they did not win a game against the Las Vegas Aces. So, this one here, they're going to win a game. But I think Connecticut's just got too much firepower for this matchup for them to win. Like I said, I mean, there's no way of, trying to be, let's say, I'm trying to think of a word that can, that I can say that is, well, I look at it this way. I don't think that Indiana has enough firepower to beat them. I know that they're going to put up a pretty good fight because they are scrappy. They are a a team that can win and have proven that they have, can make the play. They can make a run at this thing. But what I'm trying to say is this. The team is good. No doubt. Indiana, looked like they couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag at the beginning. But, once they got started with the team chemistry, and then they had to overcome all the, the hype about Caitlin Clark and all the stuff that was going on off the court, they played together as a great team. Got to give it up for Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull. All these young ladies have contributed to the Fever making it back to the playoffs for the first time since 2006, I think. 2006. Or 2016, one of those. They haven't been to the playoffs in a while. But, you got to give it to them. Their coach has been, she had to put up with a lot of stuff. I give it to the Indiana Fever for making the playoffs. But when it comes down to it, you got to remember, Connecticut is strong. Jana Carrington, Veronica Burke, these young ladies are just really, really good. You got Alyssa Thompson. These girls are young. These young ladies are very, very good. Now, I will say that Connecticut will win this series, and they'll beat them 2-1. Got to give credit to the Fever for making the playoffs, but a stronger team. Connecticut is a stronger team. Let's just put it that way. Okay, the other matchup we got is the Minnesota Lynx versus the Phoenix Mercury. Now, this could be the swan song for Diana Taurasi. This could be it. Phoenix is a good team, but Minnesota has just turned it on. They were right behind the Vegas Aces in the West, and they basically came on and just had no problems with making the playoffs, and no problems with just overtaking them. They're first in the league in assists, sixth in points. They average about 82 points a game. And like I said, these young ladies are very, very. This is a strong team. And if it wasn't for my girl Nafisa Collier, this team wouldn't even be able to put up anything. I got to give it to her. Hot Miss Maisha Hines Allen is probably one of the unsung heroes on this team. I like Minnesota, and you got to give it up for Diamond Miller. Diamond Miller also, really, really good team. Really good player. Kayla McBride. You got some great players on this Minnesota Lynx team. And don't be surprised if they give, now in the West, there's, 4 teams out there. Phoenix, Minnesota, Seattle, Las Vegas. Now, I'm looking at it this way. It's going to come down to the Vegas Aces against the Minnesota Lynx in the semifinal, or the semifinals, conference finals, whatever. But like I said, Las Vegas had. Phoenix has a chance, but I think that Minnesota is a little bit more tougher, and they will win this series 2-1. The only other sweep that I see. Now, like I said, the top seed should sweep. The 2 other favorites in the other 2 should, they might lose 1 game. Okay. Now, going to the Seattle-Las Vegas matchup, Las Vegas is headed for the three-peat. They're trying to get the three-peat. And I think that they will make it back to the championship round. I'll make my prediction when it comes down to it. But I do like Las Vegas to win this series 2-0. Because Seattle really doesn't have anybody other than what is his name? Styler. Gosh, excuse the expression. Skylar Diggins Smith. I was trying to think of her name. Skylar Diggins. Yeah. They're pretty good. They're pretty good, and Jewel Lloyd is a pretty good player. They got some players, but like I said, Las Vegas is poised now to get to the championship round, to get that three-peat in. There's only one other team that haven't done it. So, they're trying to be the second team to ever do it. So, I'm going with the Las Vegas Aces to win that series. So then we'll have Las Vegas matching up against Minnesota. We'll have Connecticut and New York, which were, the two best teams in the East this year. All right. So I got that done. That, like I said, just go through it. I'm not going to go through it deeply, but, like I said, those are my predictions. I got New York winning 2-0. Connecticut 2-1, Minnesota 2-1, and then Las Vegas 2-0. All right. So let's go to the NFL picks. Last week I didn't do too bad. I split 3-3, but always the guru was always right, so I did the right thing. Anyway, all right. So let's get to the NFL pick six, 6 picks, pack 6, or whatever you want to call it. I don't care. All right, let me go through these really quick. Philadelphia versus New Orleans. New Orleans is a 2-point favorite. I'm going with New Orleans because of Philadelphia's not able to finish games and throw the ball when they were supposed to run it. You always seen that happen. Remember in the Super Bowl, Russell Wilson was supposed to let Marshawn Lynch run up the middle. He threw the ball, he missed it, intercepted, game over. All right, so I'm going with New Orleans. New York Giants, who I think, like I said, they're going to be probably tanking for a quarterback, of which they didn't have Daniel Jones. I'm going to go with Cleveland. They're 6.5 points favorite. I'm going with Cleveland in this case. Carolina and Vegas. Vegas is a 6-point favorite. I'm definitely going with my Las Vegas Raiders, and they will win, and hopefully Carolina's bringing their new quarterback in, new quarterback, Andy Dalton, and, we'll see if he can try to, make Bryce Young look like a kid or so. All right, you know what I'm saying. All right, Baltimore is a 1-point favorite in Dallas. Now, are the Ravens going to be 0-3 after this game? I really think so. Actually, I'm going to go with Dallas at home. I can't, like I said, I got to be realistic, and I'm going to show you that I'm realistic in a couple seconds here. Now, Detroit is going into Arizona, and Arizona is a 3-point underdog at home. Doesn't matter because Detroit's the better team. I'm going to go with Detroit, and Detroit will win that game. And I'll take the 3 points, or lay the 3 points with Detroit and give them that. All right. Last pick, the 6th pick of the day, I'm going to go with is Buffalo. This is on Monday night. Now, they got 2 Monday night games. I'm going to pick this one because the other Monday night game is Cincinnati, and I think they're going to have them all both at the same time or whatever. It's going to be Cincinnati and Washington. I decided to pick this game because, like I said, I want you guys to know that I did pick Jacksonville to win their division, and I picked Jacksonville to make the playoffs. Now I think I might have to go back on that. After looking at their schedule this week and looking at how this team has started out and how their offensive line is not that good, you know, we might be in trouble. Jacksonville is in trouble. I got them winning 7 games instead of 10. They might end up 7-10, not 10-7. So on that note, I'm going to take Buffalo. They're laying 5 points. I don't see it. Jacksonville has not been the first two games of this season. They haven't been good. I mean, they have not been good. So I'm gonna, they're going to be 0-3 after this game, and I hate to say it, but I'm gonna go with Buffalo. Now I'm not turning on my team. I'm not turning on my team because, I'm not turning on the Raiders because, they're the Raiders or whatever. But like I said, after looking at Jacksonville's schedule, I made a mistake. I mean, they could prove me wrong, which, like I said, Guru is not wrong most of the time. But, I'm just like really, really shocked about what I actually saw. I'm looking at Jacksonville's schedule right now. All right. They got teams on here I don't think they can beat. All right, so let's just go down the schedule for a little bit. I got a couple minutes here before I quit. Okay. Jacksonville's schedule. Okay, they got the Bills. I don't think they're going to beat them. They got the Texans next. I don't think they're going to beat them. The Colts? Yeah, maybe. Bears? Maybe. Patriots? Maybe. Packers? No. Eagles? No. And that's the week of my birthday. I don't know they are. Vikings? No. Lions? No. Texas? No. Tennessee? Let's see. Is that Tennessee at home? They will win. The Jets? No. Raiders? No. Titans and then Colts. Yeah, they might be able to win those two. But the way I see it, they look like a 7-10 team. The Guru is not a person to go with the favorites and then, act like it's okay. I will call out my own team. And like I said, right now, I'm calling them out. What I seen was a total collapse in week 1. Had the game won and basically just, turned around and just, took the foot off the gas and let them just, ride right past you. But like I said, this is going to be a very, very big lesson for all you guys to know that the Guru never plays favorites. All right. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here. I've been talking enough. You guys have a great, great football Sunday. I'll be back next week. You guys take care. The Guru will see you real soon. Talk to you a little bit later.